Hey, everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent Tartaria. Recent Tartaria.
Hi,
David, how's it going?
I've been preparing, for this thing about Germany and some other things that we said we'd discuss this time. So that's what I've been
Excellent.
preparing. Yeah, about Nazi Germany and the history of Germany and other related things.
Well, I
Have
was
you
looking
got
at some
the?
of that stuff, and it seemed like that some of it was a little kind of funky. So I was kind of hoping you could go over that and show us some of the things you found.
Yeah. Have you got the picture of Germans in Eastern Europe, in Poland and Ukraine?
Yeah, you were sending me this picture, and it looks kind of weird. I mean, I noticed that the people here, they're all wearing these shawls. They kind of look almost like Muslims, even.
Yeah, by the way, they're Germans who are living in Eastern Europe. Now, the
Oh,
thing is, what many people don't know is that when you're building a nation state, when these nation states were formed 100 years ago, many nation states 100 years ago,
right.
what they needed was people, yes, and they needed people who were going to support their nation states, and they wanted land and resources. Now, when Germany was being formed, and when it was formed and it was trying to settle its borders or increase them, and it wanted more people, um, they went out there in Eastern Europe getting more people. Yes. Now, the thing is, the picture that I've sent you is people who the Nazis claimed were Germans who were living in Ukraine. Now, these people there, when you look at the picture, it's a very suspicious picture. Those people, they said they were Germans who couldn't even speak German, who were living in Ukraine. They put them in onto trains and they sent them to Berlin and onto West Germany. Now, this was like the goodbye for these people, that these people are leaving Ukraine from the Bessarabia region. Oh, notice the name, it's called Arabia in
Oh,
Europe. Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. Yes. Now, but these are Germans today. Their grandchildren are in Germany today, and they're Anglo-Saxon
But they couldn't
Germans.
speak
Yes.
German.
Ah, they couldn't speak German either. And the thing is, as you can see from the photo, they don't look literate. There was no schools in that region, so they were all farmers. And another thing you'll notice is that all the they're saying goodbye to their ancestral graveyard. All the gravestones look brand new and very expensive compared to the type of people who are in that picture. Yes,
Right.
can you see?
Yeah.
Yes. So it looks like the picture is a bit of a setup. Now, the next picture I've sent you after that is a picture on the trains. They've just arrived in, Germany, and you can see there's people there to greet them, and even the children are wearing what looks like these scarves that you see that they're wearing in the Middle East.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
tartar
but
scars.
yeah, and the thing is, these people, the Germans, claimed they were Protestant, whatever, and the Russians were kidnapping people in Ukraine and Poland, claiming they were Orthodox or other things, or communists, and they were shipping them off to places like Novosibirsk, Irkutsk, Baikalsk, Khabarovsk, and Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, Vladivostok, and other places, because they knew there were minerals in that land and they wanted to occupy the land, and they were sending them out to build new cities there and other things there. Yeah. So these people, it's very strange what was going on, what the Nazis were doing in
Also, this
Eastern
picture, the
Europe.
first one you sent, I mean, how old are these? The cemetery here it doesn't look like.
It looks like a staged photograph. Yes, because they brought these
Brand
people.
new.
Yeah, they brought these people to Germany, so they had to justify it to other people and
Got
say,
it.
"Hey, these are genuinely German." Yeah, it's like when you're bringing in new immigrants, nobody's going to accept them. People would have said, "Hey, they look just like the Jewish people and the other people that we're persecuting, but you're telling us they're Germans and they can't even speak German." Yes. So the thing is, it's because they fit in with the agenda, and so these people, they were happy to come to Germany because they thought, hey, we're getting a better life. Yes, but the thing is, the Nazi Germany machine. How was that run? It's like let's look at the United States or Europe today, or Japan. How are they run? Yeah, we're living off minerals and resources that are from Latin America, Africa, and Asia and other
Stolen,
places.
yeah.
Yes, and we're paying them peanuts.
And
Yes,
using them
correct.
for labor, immigrant
Yeah, yes,
refugees, right?
yeah, you could work in an Apple factory in China and get $200-300 a month, something like that, or is it $200-300 a week? I forgot, But and in Europe, you'd get a salary for that, about 5 or 10 times higher in Europe or America. So it's like daylight robbery.
Right.
Yes,
At this point,
to
I
a
might take
certain
Chinese
extent.
money instead of American money. It's probably more stable.
Yeah, but the banking system in those countries are a fraud too. That's why you'll see all these Chinese and Brazilians and other students who come to study in Western universities to learn and continue the economic system.
Right.
Yes, because they are going to go back to their countries and they're going to apply the same model. Yes, where inflation will always go up and prices are always going to double in 10, 20 years because they're just going to print more money, more paper. Yes,
There it is.
so so those are the disadvantages. Now the thing is, when it comes to Germany, we'll have to look at who were the Germans, who are the Allemans, and things like this. So I've sent you another picture of the Alpha and the Omega.
Right.
Now, this is the Alpha and the Omega when you write it down with your handwriting. Yes, this was the average handwriting that they found on walls. Like you decorate your house, you decorate places. If you're not artistic. Now the thing is, it's the Alpha and the Omega. It's not the Alpha and the Omega or the Alpha and the Omega and the Alpha and the Omega. It is Alpha A. So now the thing is, today the Alpha and the Omega symbol. I've sent you a copy with the Alpha and the Omega symbol beside the symbol for Allah. It's exactly the same. Now
Absolutely.
the only people who use that symbol today is basically the Muslims or people in the Middle East. There could be some Christians who are Arabs who use that symbol too because they use the Arabic alphabet. Now, the thing is, it's so strange that the Muslims are the only people who are using the Alpha and the Omega, and,
It's a
and
perfect thing.
nobody
I can
else
see
is.
how the omega could be made from this kind of a W thing, but also how if you put the alpha into the omega, how they fit together.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, there's a W, and now in some handwritings, they've made it look like a big O.
Right.
Yes, I'll explain that some other time because that is a long story.
Cool.
Yes, and then that takes us to India to the and the Omega
Oh,
symbol.
that'll be
Yes,
another episode. Okay.
yes. India is it's a totally different thing.
It's a
Yes.
whole thing
So
in
now
its own.
after that, yeah. Now after that, I've sent you something that's from the Gala Placidia,
Oh yeah.
which is in
So
Italy.
here's Christians using it.
Yeah, the Alpha and the Omega symbol is used worldwide.
But
And
this is the
Christians used
Muslim
to
one
use
you're
it.
saying, right? The Arabic, right?
It's an international symbol. It's the
Oh,
symbol for God. Yeah,
Tartaria.
but today nobody uses that symbol. Um, Not that much, anyway, except for the Muslims who are decorating their houses, their cars, their books with the Alpha and the Omega symbol.
But here
And
it's closed, right? Like so that's kind of changed slightly. The closed A instead of that open.
Yeah. The thing is, the A, when you make it longer in a line, then it becomes the number one. That's why the Alpha is the number one.
You know what?
And the
I
number
knew an
one
East
symbol.
German guy who made his ones look like that, just like V's straight down.
An upside down V, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That is the number one. The number one and the letter A is basically the same.
Interesting.
So now,
Okay.
yeah. So now the thing is, the Alpha is the Alpha and the Omega. It is not the Alpha and the Omega. That's why the Muslims still say Alpha and they say Allah. But the Christians, they refuse to say Alpha and Allah. They will say Elah, Elah, Lama,
Interesting.
Sabachthani.
Well, I see here even
But
you show in
why
the
would
bottom left corner they have the open version. So why is it such a big deal? The difference between the A and the E.
now the thing is um some the Masoretes changed it to the letter E. The Masoretes were in the Middle Ages.
The
Yeah.
Masoretes.
Some historians say 1,000 years ago, and but the other historians say they were 500 years ago. I've sent you
The
something about the
Masoret. Who were
Masoretes.
the Masoretes? What is this? They changed
Mazor
everything?
comes from the Mazor comes from the word Misr, yes, or Egypt, and it's the
Oh.
group of people, yes, who wanted to carry on the system of the priesthood of Pharaoh or the ancient Egyptians.
Okay, it's
Yes,
like a
but
Sarsiv.
the
Okay.
main thing is the alpha is the letter A. It is not the letter E. So Jesus Christ could not have said Ela Ela lama sabachthani, and the name for God cannot be Ela in the Old Testament. That is a major proof that Ela is a fraud, and all these Bible translators, every single church that says the name of God is Ela is telling a lie, because the Alpha is the letter A. God is the first and the last.
That is
God
so
is the
okay. So
Alpha
aren't the
and the
Hebrews not
Omega.
supposed to have vowels or something, but yet Alpha and the Omega, right?
All
So
right, right now, modern Hebrew. Yeah, I've said that to you before. It's in a different video, so I won't go through that
right.
again. It's an artificial language that was created recently,
An
and
excuse to
the
get
thing is,
rid of the A. Oh man.
yeah. Now the unfortunate thing about modern Hebrew, yes, let me show you the symbol for Allah in modern Hebrew and the symbol for Elah. Yes,
Okay.
and we know that God is the Alpha and the Omega, Allah and the Omega. It is not the Elah. Yes. So now let me show you in Hebrew. Yes, Allah and Allah is exactly the same. But what these
Yeah, because no
Masoretes
vowel.
did is they played around and put circles saying, pronounce it, if you're a Jew, pronounce it, or a Christian, pronounce it Allah. But if you want to follow the Alpha and the Omega like Jesus Christ and all the prophets who said it was Alpha, you will say Allah. So guess
Wow.
what? It looks like the Muslims were right all along. It was always the Alpha and the Omega. That's why the letter A is on every symbol for Alpha and the Omega. Now,
Wow.
let's see how many Christians, yes, are going to go out there and say, hey, I'm going to pray to Allah tonight. Or are they still going to insist and say it says Allah? Yes. The thing is, if they're going to insist, do you know what they should do? They should change every Bible and say God is not the first, but A, B, C, D, E. E is the letter
Oh.
5. Say God is the fifth. God is the fifth and the last. Then you can say Allah and the Alpha and the Omega. Yes. So the
Interesting.
thing is, this is nothing to do with supporting the Muslims. This was in Europe. The Europeans and the Christians said Allah and had the Alpha and the Omega until the boys at the church, the Vatican and all these other priests, regardless of whether they're Protestant, Orthodox, or whatever church, evangelical church, all these priests, the majority of them decided to tell the world, hey, it's Allah. Yes.
Right.
In
And then
other
there's
words,
like
to
Elohim.
make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elohim comes from Alpha and the Omega, Allah and When
There
you
we go.
combine them two together, it's Allahum. That's why when you go to Turkey, yes, you'll see people, if there is a car accident, they'll say straight away, and they'll say Allahum. But the thing is, oh no, nobody's going to say the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega. People are now going to say Elohim. Yeah, well, it seemed like instead of saying the United States of America, let's say the United States of Umrika. Let's change it. Yeah, so a bunch of priests and a bunch of guys changed it because they wanted to separate the path of God and divide people, divide and rule. They told the world it's Allah. Why don't people go out there and check things? It's not
There's a
difficult.
Indiana
It
Jones
only
joke
takes
in
a
here
few minutes.
somewhere, in the Latin, Jesus begins with an I or something.
This is it's disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful now when it comes to the name of Jesus Christ. Now I've sent you from Wikipedia the name of Jesus Christ in England until about 100 years ago. The
In
average
England too.
family.
Okay.
The English people, the Anglo-Saxons, all over Europe, even in America up to 100 years ago, people said Esau for the name of Jesus Christ, Esau.
Well,
Yes,
you had showed
until
that the
they
Arabs
changed.
were doing this, so that's interesting. But the Christian English were doing this.
Let's forget the Arabs. We're
Yeah.
not talking about the Arabs. We're talking about Europe and Germany today. Yes, now the English, to the English people for centuries, the name of Jesus Christ is Esau.
Wow.
Now even to the Vatican, yes, the Jesuits were called the Societas Esau. Yes, the Society of Esau. Yes. Now the thing is, nobody in Europe and America, hardly anybody today, will call Jesus Christ Esau. Now the only people who are calling them is these people from the Middle East and these Muslims. They're calling them they say Jesus Christ is called Isa, and then everybody's just saying, no, he's not. He's called Yeshua or Jesus or Joshua or Yeshua. Where are they getting these stories from? Where are they getting it from? And then they're going to say, no, God's not called Allah. He's called Alpha and Omega. It's the fifth letter. God is not the first. He's the fifth. He's the Allah. Okay. Yes. They might as well change the Trinity to add two more people.
Does this play into that AE thing, that letter, like the Alpha AE thing, whatever, in like the Encyclopedia
Oh, those
Britannica?
file things. Oh, that was part of the policy to change the alphabets. That's how they changed Arapa, Europa, to Europa.
Got
Or
it.
Europa was called Arapa. They changed
Arapa.
the letter A to the letter E. Same like, there is El Salvador, El this and El that, but everybody knows it was originally Al Salvador.
Did they
Just like in the
change the
future.
B to a P? Was it Araba, like
Oh
Arabia?
yeah, yes, of course. Everybody knows
Okay.
this.
I think I
Everybody
see
knows
what
that
you're
the
laying
name
down here.
everybody knows that the name for daddy is Baba. Yes. But
Hmm.
oh no, these days they try and say he's so kind, he's so sweet, his name is Papa. Papa,
Oh,
and
there it
that's
is.
what, and now they're even putting it in these French adverts, Italian adverts, or in Renault adverts saying Papa Nicole, Papa. It was never Papa. The Pope was a military leader, and there were military wars, against the Pope, and the thing is. But anyways, now that we're talking about Germany here, yes,
Hmm.
let's get back to Germany.
Alemania,
Germany,
right?
the name Germany is a new name. Yes.
Saint Germain. Okay.
It was originally called Alemania for centuries. And even today, many people call it Alemania. Si vous parlez français, dans France, il dit Alemania.
Ah
Yes,
ouais,
Alemania.
bien sûr.
Yes. Yes. So they were called, the Germans are called the Alemanni people. So now what is so strange about these people? Yes, you can find this history, it's not hidden. Yes, the thing is, they are going to say this history is 1,500 years old, but according to professors like Professor Anatoly Fomenko and other professors, they've said that this timeline is wrong. Now, if we change the timeline, it shows that the Alemanni were the Germans only 400 or 500 years ago, and we can still see this when we look at the photographs of these Germans that I've shown you who are wearing headscarves.
Yeah.
Yes, and the fashion is totally different. Now, these people followed a religion called Aryans. They were called the Aryans. Now, some people tried to say the Aryans were a race, but let's have a look at
Okay.
what is the religion of Moses. Yes. Now, the religion of Moses, there's the Jewish people today, and they turn around and say that if somebody is not a believer, yes, to many people, they will say, please marry a Jew. They're not being racist. Well, it's nothing to do with race when they're saying this, because there could be a Jew from Germany, there could be a Jew from Egypt, there could be a Jew who came from Iran, yes, or a Jew who came from Italy, and they're going to say, marry somebody who's Jewish. What they mean is you marry somebody who believes in God, in the same God. And the rabbis are saying this. Now, the Muslims do the same thing. Now, the thing is, the Germans were known to be the Aryans, and they followed the system that in English we'll say Aryanism. or Italian or French, Arianismo, whatever you want to say, but they were the Aryan people. Now, some people try and say it's a racist thing or something to do with race, and they tried to change this on purpose so that nobody can find the truth. Now, the Alemanni
Makes
people,
sense.
they were Aryans, and they were a beautiful people, and these people followed the way of Moses, the original Torah. And the original Torah, and they will not marry somebody who was not a believer, somebody who was eating pork. They married only the believers. That you could come, let's say you could come from Mexico or the United States or Canada, or you could come from Morocco or from Spain. And if you said, hey, I am a believer in the God of Moses, in this one God, then they will say you are one of us. And then you can marry amongst them. Now, these people, what they did was they were destroying Christian churches, Christian statues, Christian sanctuaries. Now, in Wikipedia, they put down the word sanctuaries. Sanctuaries, they're trying to show there were holy places, these Christian places in the Middle Ages. Oh, yeah, sure. They were burning people if you refused to believe in the Trinity. Yeah. These sound like holy people to me. These priests, who were burning people, saying, you don't believe in the Spiritus and in the Papa, in the Pope, in the Papa. Yes, you must burn. Yes. Oh, after we're burning you while you're being burnt. Yes, what they did was, they had their glasses ready. They cut open the bodies so that the blood will come pouring out. Oh, yeah, they sold the blood on the market. Yes, in these inquisitions. Yes, so now we've got the Alemanni. Now, this is the Germans, and they're following Arian. Now, the only Arian we can find in history is Aaron. And Anatoly Fomenko showed the connection. I see that there is no doubt that these people were the followers of the prophet Aaron. And many rabbis have
The
even said
Aaronic
that
priesthood.
the followers of the prophet Aaron were called Muslims, even before the Muslims of the prophet Muhammad were called Muslims. That they were called Muslimani. Yes. And the thing is, let me try and send you an example. There's rabbis who've said this, but you'll have to play the video. It's about a minute long or something. Let's see if I've still got it. Many rabbis have done research that the Muslims existed before the Prophet Muhammad. And for example, the followers of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, many
Ari
of them
is
were called.
a Hebrew nickname for Aaron, so that even tracks.
Yes. Well, let me just find that video. Let's see if I can find it. But people can find similar things online. Yes, that the name Muslims existed before the followers of the Prophet Muhammad. Yeah. It will take too long to find it, but so people will have to look for it online. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. So now these Aryans, yeah, obviously they weren't Christian. The Germans were not Christian, yes, who followed the Trinity. They were Aryans who believed that Jesus Christ was a man. They believed that the Bible was a lie, yes, and they believed that Jesus Christ was a prophet. This is nothing to do with Islam. They had the Alpha and the Omega symbol, and they called God Allah, not Allah. And they had the Alpha and the Omega symbol, and they were going around attacking anybody who followed the Trinity. I've sent you Anatoly Fomenko shows.
Right, I'm looking at
Aaron
the
and
Aaron to Arius and talking
yes,
about Arius.
yes.
I'm
So
interested in
now, so
Arius
now
now.
these Arians, they refuse to accept the Trinity. Yes, and almost most Germans, yes, the Franks, that name came after. You cannot even find the origin of the name Franks. I think that the Vatican and their friends gave them the name Franks, but they were actually Vikings, and they were originally called the Normans.
Right.
Yes, who
The
came
Arabs
into
referred to the
Normandy and
Franks as the
Scandinavia.
Ferengi, and Ferengi meant foreigner.
Yeah, that comes after. Yeah, that comes after. The Ferengi. We'll talk about that another time
Okay, fair.
because that is so controversial. Yes, the Ferengi and the French and Firenze, Florence, and then Firaun, and then the Führer. The Führer,
Oh,
Hitler,
okay.
they call him Führer on purpose. Yes, because they know Führer. Yes, means Pharaoh.
Okay.
Yes. Well, anyway, the Germans, the Germanic tribes are Anglo-Saxon. Yes, the so-called the North Europeans, the Dutch, They rejected the divinity of Christ. They rejected the Trinity. So where are these so-called proud Aryans of Germany and England today, and Holland and Northern France? Why are they there? Why have they forgotten that their ancestors were murdered, tortured, and raped by the Vatican and the Vatican's armies, and forced to accept Christianity, whether they're Catholic or Protestants? Why is nobody checking this history? These people had the Alpha and the Omega. They called God Allah, and that's why they were called the Alamani. Alamani, Allah. Yes, the men of Allah. If people think I'm making this up, go and research it yourself. And then this is where the Holy Roman Empire was. Yes, forced conversions. Yeah, burn these people. Yeah, if they're not going to follow us. We want to set up our new world order with the New Testament. Yes, the New World Order began with the New Testament. Many people don't know these things. Yes, and the Vatican was behind that. Yeah. So now the thing is, there's many of these people who are in America who are of Anglo-Saxon origin, and they think, hey, this is our ancestral book. Yeah. Tell them to go to Germany, to the fields, and start digging up the graves of their ancestors who got raped, murdered, tortured, and burnt. And let's see how happy and proud they'll feel. Yes. And then they're going to say, yeah, yes, our ancestors became Christian because it was they chose this religion. I don't think so. Yes. So now the suspicious thing is, yes, when we look at the Alemanni, yes, and things like that during the Middle Ages, they're burning the churches and everything. Now the thing is, the region of Germany, yes, and the thing is, I'm not making this up. People can go and check this. Yeah, was ruled by the so-called Holy Roman Empire. But when we look at Wikipedia and everywhere, they're going to say the Holy Roman emperors were Christians who were fighting against the Muslims during the Crusades. Were they really fighting the Muslims, or were they fighting the Vatican?
Were they
So
really
now
Christian?
Here example, right. Yeah. So let's have a look at I've given you an example. Like here is Frederick. Yeah, Frederick. Somebody will say it's a German name, Frederick. Yeah, but somebody else will say it's an Arabic name, Friedrich. Yeah, Farid. Yes. So the thing is, it doesn't mean anything. It could be a Christian name or Muslim name. He was Holy Roman Emperor, etc. He was the King of Jerusalem, King of Germany, King of Sicily, etc. So now these things, when you look at them, there's him, his families. Now the thing is, they've already falsified the timeline and a lot of information about these kings. Now, when we look at their gowns, now, so if somebody is going to say, hey, David's making this up, yeah, or David made this, oh yeah, let's look at the Holy Roman Emperor's gowns. They're decorated in gold with thousands of pearls and diamonds. God knows how many millions of dollars this cost, and it's got Arabic writing over it. Yeah. Now the thing is, somebody's going to say, maybe it's just one or two things with Arabic writing on it. Yeah. So they're going to say
stuff from Arabs or something.
Yeah. So the thing is, the thing is now the mysterious thing is this. Yeah, even if you looked at, let's say, under your gown, you're going to wear your T-shirt and things. Germany's a cold place. You wear your T-shirt, your leg warmers, back in the days, things like that. So let's look at their vests and their stockings and other clothes. You know what we see? Even in their private clothing, they've got Arabic writing on.
Wow. Like magical talismans.
This is somewhere in Vienna. Oh, now this is very important. Please take a note of this. Now, this Arabic is written backwards. Oh. Yes, when Arabic started to be written the opposite way. Yes, that's why we've got Ladino, that the so-called children of Israel in Spain, in France, and in Italy, they were writing it the opposite way. So somewhere in history, yes, the Arabic was written backwards and the opposite way. That you will find there's many of these things. Now, I've given one or two examples. People are going to go out there, they'll find so many things in Europe, and they're full of this Arabic writing everywhere. And the thing is, so the thing is, it just doesn't make sense. So now we've got these Germans and these German Holy Roman emperors with Arabic on. They're called the Allah, and they follow the Alpha and the Omega. Yes, for Allah, not the Allah. And they're burning down, anything to do with the Vatican's buildings. Or Wikipedia is going to say that there were holy sanctuaries, yeah, shall we see how holy these places are? Yeah, it's just ridiculous that when somebody sees how holy these places are. Now the thing is it's um let me just show you something that makes here's a church, St. Ursula Cathedral in Cologne in Germany. Yes, the dating of this cathedral is in question, but have a look at this. It's in Cologne city in Germany. It's decorated with thousands of bones.
Oh
Yes,
man.
and oh yeah, but what's so funny is that the bones, yes, are from 11,000 females who were virgins.
What?
Oh yes,
my
and
God.
now the strange thing is, yeah, this is God knows what this Vatican and this church and Christianity did to the Aleman people. Now the Aleman people, yes, they were not the followers of the Prophet Muhammad.
Apparently,
They
they took
followed the
their
Prophet
virgins and they took
Moses.
their bones. I mean,
But wait, the thing is, they followed the Torah and the Prophet Moses. Yes. So now when somebody turns around and says the Jewish history of Europe, or what did Europe ever do to the Jews? It's not Europe, it's the Vatican and their people and the people in power who did it. Yes, they did these things. Yes, they started it, and then the process continued all the way through that whoever was running Nazi Germany went out there in Eastern Europe. There was still those women that in the first picture that are wearing the headscarf, they look like Muslims, but Islam is the same as the system as the religion of Moses, the original Judaism. That
hmm.
was original Judaism. So
And
now any
your
of
Arius
these,
thing, Ari also is the Jewish word for lion, so the tribe of Judah, totally connected.
yes. Now the thing is, if we talk about lion, then it will go to another
Yeah,
subject.
we'll
It
save
will,
it. Sorry.
yeah, let's save it. So now the thing is, they turn around and say, "Oh, what about these Muslims?" They turn around and say, "You get all these virgins in paradise." No, they don't. Yeah, these are based on fake translations from fake dictionaries that Jesuits and humanists created in the last 200 years. I've checked it myself because I
Right.
thought, hey, what is this story? It sounds interesting.
What?
I'm a
Jesuits
guy
making
from
up fake history? No. Yeah.
not fake. I'm talking about fake dictionary translation, so that if any Muslims in the Middle East translate the Quran, and then many Muslims actually genuinely believe this, but in the Quran, it actually says that anybody who's a good person, let's say Andreas, you're a good person.
For the sake
I
of
don't know,
argument.
maybe you follow the Torah or something, and then you're a good person, you're charitable, you've helped many people. Yeah, and you go to a good place when you die. Now in the Quran, it says you're going to have pure friends or pure companions. Pure means not bad people, or pure, I'm not sure what it means exactly as pure friends. And it uses the word hori in Arabic. Yes, it says they will be your companions in paradise. Now, this is where the Vatican and these dictionary people in the West, humanists, they on purpose, yeah, changed the European language. European languages had many words, Arabic words. So that's why the word whore, Whore in English, yes, actually means a girl who's, who's desirable. Everybody wants her and she's sleeping around or something like that. Yes. But that's an Arabic word too. Yes.
Haram.
And when we say Arabic, it does not mean Arabic from the Middle East. It was Arabi, European original language. Yes. Yes.
Right.
You see? Yes.
I mean, it
So
makes
now the
sense
thing
also
is,
for
so
haram to be connected to horror because the idea of forbidden, and it's not necessarily that she's the problem; it's you're forbidden
yeah.
from it.
Well, anyway, the thing is that as we can see, the Holy Roman Emperors, what they're wearing in their vests and other things, they've got things made of gold with Arabic writing on
Yeah,
and
and
things like this,
lines. Yeah,
and it's written in the reversed way. Yes. So at some point, the writing was reversed, but the Arabic was still there.
it's a huge
Yes.
thing for the
Now,
Satanists. They talk about saying the prayer backwards. Well, here you go.
yeah. Now, another thing is what many people don't know is, yeah, they on purpose didn't like the swastika. People are going to turn around and say the swastika maybe came from Tibet, Buddhists, whatever. Now, a strange thing is, I don't have the maps ready because it will take a long time to find it, so I won't look for it now, but people can check themselves. And many people will find that Tibet, yes, in many maps 100 years ago, does not show that it's in China. It shows that Tibet is somewhere near Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan, or not just north of Iran. Yes, but anyway, if you go to that region today, yes, to Central Asia, or even in Europe, you'll find mosques. Yes, in Europe with the swastika, and it was generally known that the swastika was the symbol for Muhammad. Now the swastika. Now don't forget, in Nazi Germany in the 1930s, the majority of people couldn't speak the standard modern German, and a lot of people were living in the villages. And the way these women are dressed. Now the swastika, we don't know what the original meaning is, but we do know the Muslims were using it to represent.
Right, you'd
the
shown the
system,
Kufic
symbol
using of
Muhammad.
it, and how 3 times
Yeah,
or 4 times around it says
yes,
it. It says
yeah.
Muhammad
Now
in
some
all the
people
4
will.
times.
Yeah, is it? Yes. Now some people will try, and they've tried to change the meaning of the swastika, like so the sectarian groups in Islam who will say, today this means for us it's the symbol for Ali, Allah, and Ali. Yes, and some people will say, oh, the swastika is the symbol for Buddha. You can change things as you go along. Yeah, do what you wish. I'm not here to argue with people. Yes, but as we can see, that the swastika was already in Europe. It was in mosques, and then it's strange that in Germany they weren't Christians at all. Yeah, and not just Germany, the Germanic tribes and the Germanic people, Anglo-Saxons, the Danes, the Dutch, these people were not Christians. They were forced to become Christians. Yes, and they can't hide this history. It's still there. And then all over Northern Europe, I've already shown this before. We found, the circulation. There's millions of Arabic coins, throughout
Right.
Northern Europe, and they were going around. So it just doesn't make sense. So one, yes, we've got these people in Northern Europe that have got Arabic coins, yeah, with Arabic writing that says there is no God except Allah, yeah. And then the Alpha and the Omega is Allah. It is not the Alpha or the elephant and the Omega. Yeah. So it's like there is something seriously wrong with history. And if Anatoly Fomenko pointed many of these things out, saying, hey, in Russia, we've got Arabic. Arabic was clearly spoken in Germany. It was one of the major, it was the major global language, but it was a major language, and there were other dialects. Now, these other dialects are debatable. Yes, because some people try and say this, that, but now what we don't know, I don't want to debate about. Yes, what we don't know. But what we do know is that the Aleman, yes, they were named after Allah, or the Alpha and the Omega, and they refused the Trinity. They refused many other things, and their history was invented. Yes, just a total invention, and it's a scandal. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So these things, and then where you can go throughout Europe, you'll find strange places, where these Alemanni lived. Like, let's have a look at this church in the middle of nowhere in Switzerland, and it's just outrageous. This is St. Stephen's Church in Luke Village in Switzerland,
Oh my God.
and yeah, it just doesn't make sense that
Just
today
walls of skulls.
today there's only 4,000 people that live there today.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
so
you should put the rest of them
yeah,
into the
there's hardly
church.
anybody living there. Yeah, there's hardly anybody living there, and we've got thousands of skulls and bones hidden in these basements of all these churches in Germany everywhere. So we don't know what the Vatican did. Yeah, we don't know what these people did and how they made them become Christian. And now we've got these people who are the great grandchildren of the Anglo-Saxons and the Germanic tribes living in America and Europe, in Germany, England, Scotland, Ireland, Canada, Argentina, and other places, who are turning around saying, oh, the Bible was a book followed by our ancestors. Our ancestors were crusaders. No, they were crusading against the churches, against the Vatican, and against the Bible. It was the other way round. Yes. And their allies were the Muslims. Yes. It was the other way around. History is the other way around. But no, yeah, people are going to turn around and say, okay, if you're going to say something, prove it. Prove it. I
Yeah.
cannot find, that Germany or the Anglo-Saxons or the Germanic people became Christians because they wanted to. They were
It
raped,
doesn't look like
murdered,
it was very
burned.
inviting. I mean,
Yeah. You know what I mean. So
join
that's
and your
what happened.
skull can be on our wall, or don't join
Yeah,
and your skull can be on our wall. Yeah.
yeah. So now the thing is, we can go deeper into that, but there was another issue that we mentioned last time. So I'll bring that up now. Wait, let me just find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Going to the Illuminati now. Yes. Yes, because this was an issue you brought up before, so I thought I'll bring it now. Now the thing is, Tiananmen Square in China. Now the Chinese government, it doesn't matter if we like them or not, yes, has denied the Western version of events, what happened in China, yes,
Right.
in Tiananmen. So now when we look at Tiananmen Square, yes, the events of Tiananmen Square, and what we find is this, yes, what we find is that if we find the history that we're being told in our side of the world about Tiananmen Square, have a look at this. I'll just go through it vaguely. It says that there was China had a liberal magazine. Yes, the liberal magazine had 190,000 copies a month. Yes, undocumented migrants from China, up from 190,000, because of Tiananmen Square. But let's go deep into the official version of events that we're being told about Tiananmen Square. They turn around and say, on December the 19th, 1989, yes, National Security Advisor, yes, from Brent Scowcroft and all them made private trips because of the pro-democracy protests in Tiananmen Square. Now let's look at all the events of Tiananmen Square. It's just 19 this and that. It just sounds ridiculous. It says that the wreaths or the flowers that were put for Tiananmen Square were placed on 19th of April, 1989. Yes, and then it says the premier, Li Peng, yes, he put martial law in Beijing because of the Tiananmen Square protests on 19th of May, 1989. Yes, the full history of Tiananmen Square is suspicious. Yes, what
Right.
we're being told. Now, the Chinese say another version of the events, but the thing is, anybody wants to study it, there's two sides of the story. Now, let's look at this. It turned around and says that, what do you call it? Yes, they made laws that were made after, May the 19th, 1989. It turned around and says that the climax of the Tiananmen Square protests, the biggest protest when there was 1.2 million people in Tiananmen Square protest, that was on May the 19th as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've sent you that as well. That you'll just see lots of 19th. Yeah. The Communist Party protest leaders visited the protesters on May the 19th. Oh yeah, and oh, yeah, it just goes on and on that it just sounds. Let's see now. Oh yeah, the tank man. How they reported it in 1989, saying there was a tank man who was a hero. He was standing in front of a tank. Yeah, and was this person paid? But anyway, they advertised it on all the newspapers everywhere. He was a hero, a 19-year-old student, Wang Guilin. Yes, the tank man. Oh, yes. The Tiananmen Square Museum. There's only one Tiananmen Square Museum. It's in Hong Kong. I don't know if they've shut it down by now. It's 190,000 square feet. Yes. So the more you look at this Tiananmen Square thing, it sounds ridiculous. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, let me send you this now, and today I'll be able to explain more about the relationship between 19 and the number 33. So now it says the
Okay.
estimated number during the Tiananmen Square protests, there was 33,000 Chinese scholars in the United States. Yes, yes, and 19,000 of them returned to China. Notice the 19 and the 33.
Wow.
So when the protests happened, there was 33,000 Chinese scholars, or 19,000 of them decided to go back. Yes, after the protests. Yes, and so now the tank man hero, they even advertise it. This has gone down in history that they put it on the front page. Um, did I send you the right page? Um, they put
Tales of
it on
Our
the front
Discord.
page of the Time magazine. I don't. No, I didn't send you the right page, did I?
New York Times, CNN.
Well, I'll send it to you again now. What they said it. They put it on the front page of the Time magazine on the 19th of June. Yeah, because it was so special. Yes. So the thing is, yes, I found it. The Communist Party General Secretary spoke with the protesters directly on May the 19th. Yeah, they claim it was that date. Now, Deng Xiaoping, yes, Deng Xiaoping, who was alive during that time, yes, he died on the 19th of February 1997. Yeah, Deng Xiaoping, he's the one who opened up China. Yes. And so now the thing is, because of the Tiananmen Square crackdown, many Chinese students didn't want to go back to China, and they wanted to stay in America, saying, "Oh no, we're so scared. We don't know what's going to happen to us." 19,000 Chinese, student visas, they were granted permanent residency. Oh, they
Thanks,
granted
Paul
19,000 students,
Bongiorno.
huh?
Oh, it says Paul Bongiorno, the granted residency to the 19,000 nationals.
Yeah. Oh, buongiorno. Yeah. But as you've noticed, this history is very suspicious. Now, another thing is people don't realize the science that we've got in this side of the world, the entire science system, everything, they've based everything on the number 19. Yes. Now, when people look at these things, they're going to think, what the hell are these people actually doing here now? Yes. Now, the number 19. Now, every 19 years, the moon returns to exactly the same place at the same longitude against the same constellation in the sky with the same phase. This is every 19 years. So this is why the number 19 is important. Now, the second most important number is to do with the moon. And let me send you the page. So this is why they'll use 33. It's because the sun and the moon align every 33 years.
Okay.
You see? Yes.
It's not
So
just
now
19,
the thing is
33.
yes. So now the thing is, what they've done is these numbers, they've combined these things together, and they're very important to these people, that the full metric system and everything else, that they've put all these things together. Now, for example, here I put, for example, how do you classify a hurricane? They set the classification that a hurricane has to be 34 meters per second. No, it has to be 33.95 meters per second. 33. Now, 33 meters per second happens to be 66 knots. Notice the 66. Now, they made sure that 66 knots is equal to 33 meters, but they made sure that 33 meters is equal to 79 miles per hour. But then they made sure that 74 miles an hour is equal to 119 kilometers. Yes, and 119 kilometers per hour is actually 911 backwards. But they set the standards for all of these mathematics. That you can change these standards if you want. You understand?
They
Yes.
chose this.
So they set the calendar. All these things are in my books. Yeah, people want these information. I've got many books out there. There's too many books to look at. Lemuria, Skull and Bones, Crusades, Adolf Hitler. Now, the Adolf Hitler explains more about what happened in Germany. So the thing is, in Germany, it's just a disaster. What the hell happened? The way that they brought Christianity into Germany. They did the same thing all over the world. I've got nothing against Christianity. If you want to say Allah, be my guest. But if you're going to say that Allah is the Alpha and the Omega, you're lying. You're lying. Yes, because I'm not stupid. I know the letter A is a letter A. Yes, and that's why if you're trying to say you're following the Alpha and the Omega, why don't you say Allah? And why are you going to say the Muslims are pushing this? No, the Europeans had this before the followers of the man who the Muslims call the Prophet Muhammad. The Alpha and the Omega symbol is everywhere. The Alamani, or the men of Allah, or the Alamani in Germany, they called Allah before the Muslims. This is nothing to do with the Muslims or anything else. It's like, this is to do with history. Yes, if people want me to lie and change history, yeah, I can do it and say, hey, it's not the Alpha and the Omega. Let's change it to the Delta and the Omega, the letter D. Let's just add one more to the Trinity and make it the quadruple. But anyway, so if you look at the history of Nazi Germany, it sounds very strange in the World War II. Yes, so people believe these things, but look at these things. It just sounds ridiculous. When you see this, Andreas, you're just going to start laughing.
You know they're
The
obsessed with
Soviet
esoterics, so I mean they made sure that we heard that on the History Channel. Oh
And people
wait,
use
wow.
esoteric. Now, the thing is, when you're going to use esoteric and use words like Kabbalah, those words were invented by the elites themselves to make sure that they divert you and make things difficult. But
Right.
the thing is, unfortunately, nobody wants to read the Quran. The Quran gives a simple explanation of these things. And then when somebody sees them, they're going to think, oh my God, I didn't think it was so easy and so simple.
It
But
explains a
anyway,
lot about the
let's look
connection with
at
Germany to Turkey in World War II. Yeah, keep
no,
going, sorry.
Turkey wasn't involved in World War II.
Oh, just the interest that
They only
Germany
fought
had in
while in
Turkey,
Europe.
and there were German troops. I've seen some pictures. I'll send you after this.
Oh, in World War One. Ah, yes. Now the thing is, if people don't read my book and Fomenko's books and many other researchers' books, then they're not going to understand something. We can't even prove that World War II started in 1939, because in many other places in the world they show evidence it started in the 1930s. Other people say that World War One never even ended. Yes, in other countries. But the thing is, Turkey and Germany, I'll have to go through that next time, because we'll have to get to World War One then. And
Okay,
or I'll go to it in a minute. Let me just finish this thing about Finland.
fair.
Soviet Union invaded Finland in 1939 in World War II. Why did they do it? Because the Russians demanded that Finland should give up 19 miles of land. So then the war started between Finland and Russia in World War II. Can you
Interesting.
believe it? Yeah, and they called this the first part of the war. They called it the Winter War. Oh, it's only 19 miles of land. Yeah, and so now when we look at the next thing, so the Winter War, when it finished in 1940, the Finland government announced, this is what historians tell you. They said 19,000 people died during the Winter War.
For 19
Yes,
miles, 90,000. What the heck?
yeah. Oh, it's all true. It's all true. Yes. Well, historians say so. So now, what happened is the war restarted. It's called the Continuation War. They say the Russians attacked again in 1941. And then they said 19,000 Russian prisoners of war died at this time in Finnish camps. But how many, and 190,000 Russian soldiers were sick because of the war. They called them Soviets at that time, of course.
Have you seen the Finnish Air Force flag?
Yeah, I'll go to that in a minute.
Oh,
Let
okay,
me just
okay. Sorry.
yeah. So now there's the Moscow Armistice. So now Finland and Russia make peace. Yeah, on the 19th of September on 1944, the Moscow Armistice. All this is in my Hitler book, but as you've noticed, it's suspicious as hell. Yes. So the full thing is people just believe these things. And they don't check anything. And the thing is, nobody's talking about this number 19 thing anyway. And nobody says go out there and investigate it. Yeah, except the Quran. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Right.
that's
True.
another thing. Yeah, which is strange. It is strange because they're from the other side of the world at the moment, the Muslims. Yeah. And a large percentage of them live in the other side of
Ideologically.
the world.
Okay.
Yeah, and I find it suspicious. It is suspicious because they say the Muslims are conspiracy theorists. The Muslims denied September the 11th straight away. The Muslims didn't even bother to wear masks in their countries. Most of them, they didn't bother to enforce these COVID lockdowns in most places. They're conspiracy theorists. The Muslims don't believe the news. The Muslims don't believe the history anyway. They say it's all a lie. Yeah. Oh, we can believe all this number 19. Well, you know what I mean, and
Right.
Andrea. So we can believe all these things. Oh, the Muslims turn around and say that the people in Europe did not follow the current Bible, and they say that the Europeans didn't believe in the Trinity and didn't believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God. And guess what? The historical evidence shows this also. It shows this also. So now the thing is, if somebody's saying I've made these things up, they're dreaming. You know, if they said David's got millions of dollars, he made the gown of the Holy Roman Empire, he had a time machine, he flew back 500-600 years, he put the gold there and he did all that, and then he quickly
You
came
would
back.
do cooler
Oh,
stuff with a time machine,
yeah,
right?
and then guess what he did? He even wrote in the vest and the underwear or whatever it is of the Holy Roman Emperors. He wrote the Arabic in gold. He went back in his time
Backwards.
machine. Oh, yeah, he wrote it backwards. Yes, because he said in another interview saying, "Hey, the Arabic was reversed, and that's how we got Latin." Yes, and so he did that because he said that, and because other researchers have said it. So David planted all these gold Islamic coins, saying there is no God except the Alpha and the
Dang
Omega,
it,
or
David.
the Allah.
What are you doing?
Hey, yes. What's that? Oh no, no, it's not my fault. I got Doc. You know, Doc made the time machine. 1985. You're forgetting.
It's real. I
Marty
mean, there's
McFly.
there's there's a lot of things where
Marty.
I can wonder if things were just like temporally messed up, but you're finding so many things that are built on so many other things that influence so many things that impact the lives of millions of people. It's hard to, I mean, for
Yeah,
instance, Finnish, right? Like what kind of a weird language is Finnish? It's got 17 cases. It doesn't fit in anywhere. There's clearly something going on.
there is definitely going on. You're right. Now the thing is, if you're going to say that hey, we're finding new things, it's nothing to do with new. It's that people didn't bother.
Right.
It's like all these people who are going to church and they're going to say, "Oh, the Muslims are trying to brainwash us with Allah."
Get
No,
on
they're
your
not.
knees,
It's just
look
that
down,
you.
and don't notice the wall of skulls, right?
No, yeah, that's one. But I'll give you an example now. It's not all this. This information is not new. This is nothing to do with hey, all this is coming out now. No, the Muslims have been saying for centuries, saying, hey, the Vatican and all these churches have lied. It's always been Allah, it's the Alpha and the Omega. But it's the people who go to the churches, they're ignorant, they're lazy, they don't check.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
And they're
sidetracking
the
you. I can't
ones
wait
that,
to get
because
to
they
the
didn't check.
Finland Air Force.
Yeah. Because they became brainwashed, because they didn't check and they've been lazy, they became arrogant. And then they've become prejudiced, saying, hey, look at those people there. They're the ones who are wrong. They're trying to brainwash us with Allah. That's what it is. This is not new information. It's always been there. It's just that nobody's checked it. It's not new information about the Aryan race. Nobody's. It's like there's many racist people out there, and they've decided to turn the Aryan way of the Germanic people and turn it into a race.
You take
They
a
say the Germans
religion,
didn't
you
marry
take a
foreigners or anything.
philosophy, you take a tribe, take a
Yeah, it was a
philosophy, turn into a
philosophy.
religion, turn into a
Yeah, it was a
state,
philosophy
turn
because
to a nation,
yeah,
nation of
and
Islam,
that's why
nation of
I said
Arius. Yeah.
yeah. No, not the Nation of Islam in America. There's something else. Now, remember in the last video I showed you that there was a shortage of pigs in Germany. They couldn't find them. It's
Right.
because these people
Did eat
followed
pigs.
the original Torah of the Prophet Aaron, and they were called the Aryans. They didn't eat pork.
Did import
That
pork,
is
right?
why. Yes, and that's because they brought these people into the cities. They totally destroyed Eastern Europe and all these other places. And in World War One and before that, they destroyed all the villages in Europe and they forced people to go to the cities. Yes, and then when the people were homeless in the villages, yes, and they took their children. That's why there was all these orphan trains and all these orphans. The shipping off to Canada, Australia, South Africa, everywhere. Brazil, Argentina, shipping off all these, Germanic people. And nobody is thinking, hey, our great grandparents were over there. Oh, they didn't eat pork. They refused to accept the Trinity and the crucifixion, the Germanic races. So the thing is, David's not just making this up. Oh, and since you mentioned about Turkey, yes, yes. Now the thing is, many Turks will obviously not mention this, but let's talk about Turkey and the German relationship in World War One.
Okay.
Now the thing is, let me just find this. Let's see if I can let's see if I can find it. Damn, World
Are
War
we
One.
gonna do the
Where
Finnish Air Force thing? Because I want to pull that up.
is oh that no that will go to another subject, because then we'll have to talk about the Russian flag whites on their navy. We'll have
Okay.
to talk about
I
what was
I
the
just want
Texas
America.
flag.
Spoiler alert: the Finnish Air Force flag, since well before the Germans used it, has carried the symbol of Allah and Muhammad, the swastika. We'll get back to that some
Yeah,
other time.
yeah. Don't forget the Germans came from Scandinavia, and in Scandinavia, oh yeah, okay. Since you want to go on it, yeah, Scandinavia. You know, I cannot believe. Do you know something? It was on a group in Israel. Just uh, I think it was a few days ago. It might be a few weeks ago. Somebody turned around and said, "Look at this. There's Arabic coins in Scandinavia." Do you know what some daft people say? Yeah, they try and say, oh, the Vikings had these wooden ships that are so small, and they sailed all the way to the Middle East in a wooden ship. You know what I say to you guys? Go and make your wooden ship from Norway, and let's see if you can get to the Middle East. Go do it, dude. Let's see
Right.
if you could even get to England on your wooden ship. Oh yeah, with all the sea waves and the wind and everything, you know. And how are you going to feed yourself? Yeah, animals and everything and the weight. Do you know how many people from Scandinavia in the last 100 years have tried to make these wooden ships, same like these so-called Vikings, and
Yeah.
not even a single one succeeded?
Right.
So in the same way, you know, I say to these people who are saying, yeah, you know, this Napoleon, his original name, it's not Napoleon in English, it's Napoleon. Yes,
Hmm.
you know, like you said, the Line of Judah. That's why they called him Nabu or Nabi, because that means prophet in Arabic or old European dialects. So
Oh.
that's why they called him the prophet of the lion. And he was fighting against Moscow, or the city of the Moscow. Moscow, I didn't finish it last time. It actually means Moscow means the house of Moses. The
That makes
house
more
of
sense.
Moses. So the thing is, they were showing that they were fighting Israel. Israel was Moscow. Yes, and Judah was originally, they had Arabic, and the original Holy Roman Empire was taken over by the Vatican, and then they replaced it with the Habsburg kings. Yes, and the thing is, we know what type of people these are. You know, with the Vatican and these emperors, the late Holy Roman emperors that took over. You know, they've decorated their buildings like this. Have a look at this. Yeah, in their graves and you know, all these other things. They've put these down. Just look at this. It shows what they represent in 2 seconds. Now, so now the swastika. Going back to Finland, Sweden, Scandinavia, and all these places. Yes. So now the thing is, we've got all these Arabic coins in the north, and some you know, daft. I call them daft people. I don't know what else to say. Have they not got a brain? Go and make these type of Viking wooden ships the way that we're told that this is the version of the Viking ships they've got, with the animals on board for their food and everything, and you know, with the beer that you know, the way they've described these Vikings as barbarians, drunkards, and pissheads, and all this stuff, right? Yeah, with their barrels of you know, whatever, getting pissed, and they're going around chopping heads. Yeah, that they're sailing all the way down to Spain and Morocco and bringing them, and you know, bringing all these Arabic coins, and then oh yeah, they weren't smart enough to make their own coins. They only had other people's coins, but oh no, they were all stolen coins. But then we found all over Scandinavia that the local currency has just got Arabic coins. You know
Right.
that, especially in Finland and Western Russia, that the major currency we've got throughout the Middle Ages is you know, Arabic dirhams that says there is no God but Allah. Huh. Yes, and the meaning of no God but Allah. Let's look at Moses' 10 Commandments. I mentioned a little last time, but I didn't go deep into it. Yes, because there is the thing, the Cathars, and the Alemanni and their descendants, the Valdensians or Valdens, you know, in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, who refused to be Christians of the church, who were Christians, same like the Muslims who said that Christ is not a prophet, Christ didn't get crucified, Christ is not the Son of God, and they really accepted the Alpha and the Omega. They didn't eat pork, they followed the way of Moses. Yes, these people, yes, what was I going to say? These people, they refused yes, to have any other Lord or Master before the Alpha and the Omega. This means that nobody can rule over you. Nobody can tell you what to do. Yes, this is in my book, Skull and Bones and the Crusades. It explains a bit more about the Bogomils, but this is why Moses was so important. And that's why it was called the Torah or the Turuth. The Turuth. The word Turuth comes from the word Torah. Yeah, in English we say Torah, but that's not the original word. In Arabic and in, Hebrew is modern, but the original language is called Torah. And the French word drat or Torat comes from the word Torah, and they invented the history, saying at the time of Napoleon Bonaparte, they created the Declaration of the Rights of Man, and it had 19 articles. Lafayette and Abraham Lincoln did that. It's just bogus history. Yes, it's just a fake. Moses brought out Moses was one of the biggest heroes for the freedom and the rights of mankind, because people were slaves under the system of Pharaoh. He turned around and said, nobody has got the right, yes, except God. Nobody has got the right over you, no rights over you. Nobody can tell you what to do except God. This is why it says there is no God except Allah. The Muslims repeat that commandment, and the religious Jews repeat this commandment: thou shalt have no other God before me. Now the Christians, they repeat it, but do they pay attention to what it means? Yeah, I've seen there's many Christians who say, we're Trump nationalists. Where does Trump fit into this when God has commanded, you shall have no other Lord, no other master except God, before God? That means nobody else can tell you what to do. And this is why nation states had to destroy the followers of the Torah or the Jews of Eastern Europe. Now, some people got it wrong. I read several comments when I spoke about what happened to the Jews of Eastern Europe. I call them Jews. People can call them Germans. I call them children of Israel. I call them Muslims. You can call them Muslims. The women look like Muslims, but these were the followers of Moses. Yes, you can call them the original Christians.
Tribe
They
of
wrote
Aaron's
heads.
fine, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you could call them Alaman, you call them whatever. But the thing is, World War I, World War II, and all these other things, they wiped these people out. Yeah, just looking at the Sabbatarian Jews. Yeah, there should be about 50 million of them today. So I am not saying the Holocaust and what happened to the people in Eastern Europe is any less. I'm saying it was worse. So some people actually misinterpreted what I said.
Right,
So
it's a
let me make it
continuation. I
clear.
mean, you've got this ethnocide that's going on in Europe and in the world, and it's continuing today, and it's not
No, but
something to ignore.
of course it's continuing, because they're trying to establish these nation states and establish these borders so
Right.
that they could bring in their new system. Yeah, the beginning was the New Testament, then they called it the New World, and now they want the New World Order. Yes. Now the thing is, the New World Order. Yes. Now the thing is, the majority of the people in power, a lot of them have bad agendas, but there are some good people. And what we do today, based on our actions, we can influence the future. We can make the world a better place. Nobody is telling you to be selfish and greedy every year, go out there and buy the latest mobile phone. Why don't you just help somebody in Mexico or Morocco or Vietnam or in India or in Pakistan or in Indonesia? Sending £50 a month from your salary. Don't give it to a charity organization or some people that you met on holiday. Just Western Union or bank transfer. Help people. Let's make the world a better place. I'm not just talking. I'm saying that we should. The world should really do these things. No, nobody's telling the world's people go out there and buy cars all the time so that we do mining all the time. We're the ones who are going to end up destroying our world that we're living, because a lot of the mining that they're doing, they're not doing it properly. And a lot of the things to do with the mud floods, in my book, Napoleon and the Mud Flood, I've explained a lot that mining has a lot to do with a lot of the floods and a lot of the mud flows. And right now, with the mining that we are doing to sustain our lifestyles in Northern Asia, in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and in places like Northern Europe, like France, Germany, and England, and North America, like United States and Canada. Yeah, what we're doing is Before they did mining in the United States, Europe, and in Northern Asia, but now that we've moved it to the third world countries. Yeah, because we know that the mining changes the landscape and it makes it unstable. But what are we doing? How long are we going to continue the system for? The number of cars we made in the last 100 years, the amount of mining and the cost it made for the cars, we could have built the entire countryside of the world. Everybody could have had a nice villa, 4 or 5 bedroomed. Yes, and we could have built a beautiful system like how people describe Tartaria or the old world order. It's up to us. So many people are blaming the people at the top. The people at the top, yeah, they're showing these actors and other things. People are talking about it, but it's the people at the bottom. It's us. If we're greedy, they're looking after us. Now, what did Jack Nicholson say in that movie with Tom Cruise, A Few Good Men? He says, "I'm providing you the security, and you dare to question me how I'm providing it." You know, he did the Code Red. Have you seen that movie, A Few
Yeah,
Good Men? And
yeah,
he gets angry. Those are the people in power. They're going out there causing the wars in the third world. They're abusing people. They're doing all these, assassinations, doing all these fake operations, fake everything. But the thing is that they're doing all these fake things. It's because it's us who are greedy. So now the thing is that was a movie, but in the real world, it's something else. Yeah, the people in Colombia are suffering, with the mining that we in our side of the world we're doing to sustain our lifestyle. So let's give something back to these people. I hope that people actually give something back. Yeah, this is not just about finding the truth. When you find the truth, become a better person. Yes, make your life better. So it's not just about finding the truth and then keeping it to yourself. So now that you mentioned Germany and with the Turks. So now let's have a look at this very suspicious history, yeah, which is very suspicious, of course. Let me see if oh, please don't say I can't find it. Yes, I found it. Now, the thing is, of course, they've played with the history in Turkey. Yes, but the thing is, in Turkey, it's because in Turkey, not many people question these things because in Turkey the people are predominantly Muslim and they don't pay attention to the history, and many people don't actually care. Yes, so the thing is in Turkey, many people they follow the history of the Quran and other things, and they focus on the Quran. So genuinely, many people don't care, but in our side of the world, what we study is this. So now let's have a look at Turkey and Germany. Have you received the picture?
yeah.
Now, Anzac Day, Westminster Abbey. Anzac means Australia, New Zealand, and the people who fought in World War One in Turkey, and the Germans were together with the Turks fighting the British and the French and the Australians. Now, let's see what it says. Gallipoli saw 50,000 Australian troops take part, with over 8,700 killed and 19,000 were wounded. This is from official websites, australian.gov.au and westminsterabbey.org. So now let's have a look at the Gallipoli campaign. Now I'm going to have to send you this individually. Yeah. Let me show you now. The Gallipoli campaign is very suspicious as it is. So now the thing is, the Gallipoli campaign, when somebody studies this in a history book, it shows that okay. Oh, don't tell me I can't send this. Oh, yes, I can. Yeah. So now on the 17th of February, 1915, the British sent their spies to investigate, the Gallipoli region, etc., etc. Now, the Gallipoli campaign started, yes, it started 2 days later on the 19th of February. And on that day, it's famous because on the 19th of February, the British um, sent 2 destroyers to go towards Istanbul or through the Dardanelles.
Hmm.
Yes, and so they sent 2 destroyers to begin attacks in the stronghold areas. No, or maybe it's not 2 destroyers. I'm not sure. The naval attack started on 19th of February. Notice it's the 19th. So now this is the Gallipoli campaign. Yes. So now notice it's 19, and so now the next thing is on So now so they've started their offensive, and now the Turks retaliate. So now let's have a look. When do the Turks retaliate? The Turks retaliate on the 19th of May.
I should have seen that coming. Sorry.
Yeah. So now the thing is, the Turks have a hero. His name is Mustafa Kemal. He's he defeated the British, and he's the only undefeated general. And what they're claiming is that he was the leader of the 19th Division. Yes, they're claiming this. The historians are claiming this. So now, as we go through this, Mustafa Kemal is with the 19th Division. So now they have a museum for this, this battle, with the Turks and the Germans fighting the British, etc. It's called the Bigali Ataturk House Museum. It says during the Dardanelles offensive, he was on 19th of April. Mustafa Kemal went to this village. It's in Chamyaila. Yes. So notice it's the 19th again. Yeah. So the thing is, throughout World War One, you'll see the same thing. It starts to become ridiculous. I'll send you a little here, but it's in my books. People can read the Hitler book. It says the Battle of Verdun, 190,000 French troops. I see came to the Battle of Verdun. Yeah. The major battle. Oh, let's check this out. The Battle of Verdun, World War One. It just starts to become ridiculous. The Battle of Verdun, the Germans advanced originally 1.9 miles. Yeah, or 1900 meters or something like this. And then the more you look at this, it becomes a joke. So now the Battle of Verdun, it lasts for 303 days or 30. A multi sounds like 33. So now the Battle of Verdun finishes on the 18th of December, and the celebrations were on the 19th. So now so let's see how did the Battle of Verdun start? It just goes on and on. It just becomes ridiculous. The Battle of Verdun, how did it start? On the 25th of February 1916, Fort Dormant was entered and occupied without a fight by a small German raiding party. And the German soldiers, there was 19 officers and 79 men. Yes, and the easy fall of Fort Dormant was the beginning of the Battle of Verdun. The 19 German officers started this battle. It was, the biggest battle in World War One or something. So now let's look at whatever it was, Dormant. Yeah. So the Germans took it over, these 19 officers. Check this out. Fort Dormant, it had 19 defensive works there. 19 defensive positions. I can't believe this stuff. I'm not sure because it's those photographs. The thing is, let me show you about the photographs. The history of the photographs is actually very suspicious. Let me show you this. Right, let me just go through it. Yeah. Now, World War One. When you start saying this, you're going to start thinking. I've given you the codes of 66. There's more. So now, at the beginning of the First World War, 66 pilots of the Royal Flying Corps flew their aircraft across the English Channel in World War One. The Royal Flying Corps of the British, went into action on the 19th of August. Yes, yeah. And but check this out. 66 pilots. Notice the number 66 again. Yeah. And I forgot. Let me just show you. I'm looking for something if I can find it. They took something like 19,000 photographs, but I can't find it now, unfortunately. I'm supposed to finish the Turkish thing. I've even lost that and the connection with Germany. But as you can see, it's
66, 33, 19. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you've noticed, they've got that in the metric system and all the other systems that they've connected these numbers together. Yes, the thing is, it becomes ridiculous. And then the strange thing is, nobody is telling anybody in the world to look for this number, and you will know where the lies are and the truths are. Can you believe this? Nobody is telling you except that book called the Quran, which millions of people in Europe and America say, no way, man. Yeah, no way, man. And people are willing to study. You go in all these historical groups: ancient Egypt, ancient Sumeria, ancient Babylon, ancient India, ancient Sanskrit, ancient Buddha, Muslim. Forget it. Okay, forget it. Forget it. Carry on. Yes, carry on living in your dream world and the things like that. People. I genuinely think that people are living in a dream world. It's like it's not difficult to see. Let's have a look at this. Even this is even more of a joke. Because we're talking about Germany. So let's look at the Berlin Wall.
Okay.
This is just totally ridiculous. Now, the Berlin Wall, yeah, just after World War II. Yeah, when you see this, you're going to think, I just can't believe this. Yeah, that it just goes on and on. 19th of August, 1961, President Johnson, yeah, visits West Berlin. And, 19th of August, he does his mega speech, Berlin Wall. Now, let's see this. At that time, people were trying to get under the Berlin Wall and things like that. Yeah, so they dug 19 tunnels.
I heard about
19
the tunnels.
tunnels.
I didn't know there were 19, of course.
19 of them were successful. They tried doing 70. People are trying to escape the Russians and they want to come into West Germany. It just sounds like a joke. Oh yeah, when the Berlin Wall collapses, the Iron Curtain, collapsed in 1989. The Iron Curtain. So that the Berlin Wall, the Iron Curtain opened on the 19th of August, 1989. It just sounds like a joke, all this history. I can't believe this. Oh yeah, let's check out. Let's see what 19th of August is. When you see all of this, it just becomes a joke. Yeah. 19th of August, 1989 was the 33rd Saturday of that year. Oh, I'm loving this. These things. Oh, let's have a look at this. Yeah. Let's have a look at this. So 19 million of them.
The 33rd
Berlin Wall.
Saturday.
Yes, the first daring escape from the Berlin Wall. Yes, the first guy to escape from the Berlin Wall. Yeah, they turn around and say he was a 19-year-old guy. Yeah, they don't even say his name. Many of these newspapers, many of these history books. 19-year-old East German border guard. They say his age first, then his name. Corporal Konrad Schufmann. Yes, he escapes. Yeah. So now let's see now that when did they stop East Germans from leaving East Berlin so that they can't go? The Russians stopped them from going on the 19th. On the 19th of October, Krenz asked Gerhard Lothar, saying we should have a new travel policy that the people cannot go to West Germany. Yes, because we support the Soviets. Yeah. So now the Berlin Wall, the first person to unfortunately die, yes, who was trying to cross the Berlin Wall, people are going to die, they're going to get shot, or there's accidents are going to happen. The first person to die was on the 19th of August, 1961. It was a big story, big news in those days. Yes. So now let's see, the Berlin Wall, they try, they had big concerts, knock down the wall, Bruce Springsteen rocking the wall, and rock and roll fever and all these rock concerts, like they have Band Aid in the 1980s. They had these things going on in Germany. So now let's have a look. When did they have their concerts to say about the wall? Yeah, it was on July the 19th, 1988. July the 19th. The main things, the East German Stasi. It was not the Gestapo of the West Germany. This is the Stasi police of East Germany. We are the communists of East Germany. So now the Stasi police, yes, and they have their secret police. There is 190,000. 190,000 of them. Yes. Oh, so now let's look at the Berlin Wall exhibitions. Yeah, they had the Berlin Wall exhibitions. Yeah. I've not got this written down, so I'm not sure when they had them, but there was 190,000 visitors. Yeah. The exhibition, I found it. It was no, I've not found it. The date, but people can find it. There was the exhibition of the Berlin Wall. There was 190,000 visitors at the time. Yeah, so and the thing is, but this Berlin Wall just becomes ridiculous. Now, just before they built the Berlin Wall, it just in June 1961, 19,000 people left East Germany through Berlin, and this is why they say the Russians built the Berlin Wall to stop people from going. Yeah, so they say 19,000 fled. So then they said they'll build the Berlin Wall. So immediately 30,000 people fled. Yes, in the 1st of August, but it was originally 19,000. Yes, so so now after they made the Berlin Wall, there were sorts of houses in West Germany and other things. So you know what they did? So they turned around and thought, we're going to build more apartments and houses. They built, I'm not sure if it was East or West Berlin, so they built 19,000 more. Yeah,
Wow.
they decided to build 19,000 more.
You gotta
Yes.
scale up.
Also now, yeah. So now the thing is, we let's see now the Berlin Wall, the Berlin Wall. So when did they close when for the Berlin Wall, and they had to do the Berlin airlift? When did all these problems actually start? Let's read this and let's have a look. So this is on the 19th of June 1948, Soviet border guards were given instructions to stop all passenger traffic on the Autobahn to Berlin and all passenger trains. So this was called the Berlin blockade. So they had to do the Berlin airlift. Yes, yes, and this happened the day after the instructions were given. The instructions were given by the the communists on the 18th of June, and it was enforced on the 19th. So now let's see. Today you can go to Germany and you can see parts of the Berlin Wall because they don't need it anymore. They knocked it down. Yeah. So the thing is, let's if you go to the memorial or something, let's read the information exactly. You can reach the cemetery gates by walking to them. Yeah, the opening in the wall is 19 meters long, a 19-meter long gap in the Berlin Wall memorial site or something. Yeah, it's famous that there's 19 meters long or something to do with the Berlin Wall, the memorial or something. Yeah. So now they've made a statue of granite, yeah, of something to do with the Berlin Wall. It was made in 1970, by the East Germans or the Russians or something. Yeah, let's have a look. They made a granite statue was designed by Russian sculptor Nikolai Tomsky, and Tomsky, yes, the statue. They put it up on the 19th of April 1970. This statue is known as the Lenin Monument or Lenin Denkmal. Yes, it was a monument to Vladimir Lenin in East Germany. Yes, so these communist monuments. It was a very famous monument. So they put it up, yeah, on the oh my God, they put it up on the 19th of April, and it's 19 meters high.
19 meters, and that's 60
It's
feet.
both.
Okay.
It's not one. It's actually both. This is a bit too much. The statue is I didn't realize it was both. So now let's have a look. Even at that time, this is photographs from the 60s and 70s. I don't know the exact date. Yeah, that it turns around and says that you're going to get shot, that you can't go. They put these notices up, and it turns around and says indicates that the end of the democratic sector is 19 meters forward. You understand? Don't go any further. Can you believe this? 19 meters. After that is the wall.
Dangerous.
Yeah, so they're putting it up. People didn't notice. So if somebody thinks this Quran that's mentioning it is just talking waffles, I don't think so. This is just a bit too much. You can check it out, but no, I cannot believe that people ignore this Quran. But the thing is, there's a lot more things in the Quran. I'm just giving you a few things. So now let's have a look. Yeah. So now there's the final parts of the Berlin Wall that's still there, and something to do with there was a scandal a few years ago saying that they wanted to protect 19 concrete slabs of remains of the Berlin Wall or something. Protesters are gathering in front of a part of the 19 slabs each, something to make way for something.
Mm.
This was a few years ago. They advertised this sort of stuff on purpose. The thing is, but as you've noticed, it's just a joke that it goes to. You know what I mean? You can go through these things, and then by the time somebody goes through it, they'll turn around and think all this history and everything. Yeah, a lot of it has been falsified. Whose side? Whose side are they on? These people. You see this in Tiananmen on the 19th in China, but then you see it in Berlin, but then you're going to see it in Epstein, yeah, and then nobody is warning you about this. Nobody except these the people who follow the Alpha and the Omega, and then there's going to be people out there who are going to say, "Oh no, David's imagining it." Yeah, the Alpha and the Omega. It actually says the Delta and the Omega. It doesn't say Allah. It says Ella. Yeah. I'm not imagining things. So the thing is, the evidence is there, and the evidence is overwhelming. It's actually a bit ridiculous, and it is scary. So now the thing is, there's all this Arabic around Europe, and I've sent it you before. About the so-called children of Israel or the Jews speaking Arabic for
Right.
many centuries. So it raises the question: what language did Jesus Christ speak? Yes. So the thing is, it sounds realistic that Jesus Christ is going to speak, Arabic, of course, but many people, don't have a look at these things. But the thing is, people need to look at these things themselves. But anyways, the thing is, since we mentioned the Holy Roman Empire, and the thing is, the Sobor before, the Sobor was set up in Croatia, and for example, and the Sobor system, and the Quran mentions the Sabur or the Sobor or the Sabur, like it was set up in Croatia by a guy called Joseph Jelacic. Now, historians and even so-called nationalists in Bosnia will claim and say, oh, his ancestors were from Bosnia, which there's no evidence whatsoever for it. But European royalty, including Jelacic, who's in the top 5 nationalism heroes of Croatia, all his weaponry and everything, it just happens to have Arabic writing all over it. Nobody notices. If you went in the museums, you have to look at it very closely, and then you think, damn, what the hell's going on here? It's got
Yeah, he's
Arabic
supposed
on
to
it.
hate Turks. This is suspicious. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, the history of Turkey is a lie anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean. Because the strange thing is, Anatoly Fomenko pointed out this so-called Sultan Mohammed or Mehmet, yeah,
Right.
Mehmet or Mohammed, yeah, he invades Istanbul, but his army comes from the north.
Right.
They've got Germans and Russians in the army, which doesn't seem to make sense. Yeah, and then it doesn't make sense that you've got German soldiers and Venetian soldiers, Austrian soldiers with Arabic swords with Arabic writing on them, and the thing is they're telling us that he came with soldiers that were Arabs, from the Middle East or somewhere, which doesn't seem to make sense. Yeah, it's same like saying from the deserts of Arabia. Today there's only 30 million of them, and they're gonna just suddenly end up coming invading Europe, which just sounds totally ridiculous. Or they're gonna come from Afghanistan on their camels or something. It just sounds like fantasy. It just sounds like fantasy. I'm laughing at it because I just think it's totally ridiculous. Same like saying Napoleon had thousands of soldiers walking on their feet, with these thousands of whatever walking around everywhere, and then they got to the other side of the world. It just sounds ridiculous. The Vikings on their wooden, small ships and whatever, sailing to the other, Southern Europe and the Middle East, and they're stealing coins. But anyway, the Quran is an interesting book. I was just looking for something to send you, but there's some things that I've almost never seen Muslims to talk. But we've all seen James Bond, and please
Right.
play this in your video because this is really cool. I'm gonna send you this James Bond video. You know that you know they say you only live twice, Mr. Bond. Welcome, Mr. Bond. We've been looking for you, Mr. Bond. This way, Mr. Bond. How would you like to drink? Shaken, not stirred, please. Mr. Bond, you only live twice. No, I like that sentence. Now, I've sent you the video. Yeah, it's 25 seconds. So actually play this. It's very interesting. I'm just
They told
going
me
to
you
play
were
this myself because
assassinated in Hong Kong.
I always
Yes,
wondered
this is my
where they
second
got
wife.
this from in James Bond.
They told me you were assassinated. You only live twice, Mr. Bond. You only
Yes,
live
this is my
twice,
second
Mr.
wife.
Bond. They told me you were assassinated in Hong Kong.
Yes, this is my second wife.
They told me you were assassinated. You only live twice, Mr. Bond. You only
Yes,
live
this is my
twice,
second
Mr.
wife.
Bond. You only
You
live
only
twice,
live
Mr.
twice,
Bond.
Mr. Bond. So
Right.
now let me tell you, Mr. Bond. The thing is, nobody speaks about this. I've never heard Muslims speak about this either. Yeah, I've highlighted it. It says in the Quran, it says that when people when they die, they'll fall asleep and they'll think they've been asleep, and then they'll wake up, and then they will say to God, "Oh God, you twice you caused us to die, and twice you gave us life."
Hmm.
Can you believe this?
Right.
I don't know what this means.
Well,
I'm no expert.
James
But
Bond,
this
Jesus
is
Christ,
actually,
Peter Fleming from Tales of Tartaria, and Ian Fleming. There's definitely something there.
yeah, but the thing is, this applies to you and me and every single one of
I
us.
felt that way as a kid, actually. I remember hearing you only live twice and thinking that had to do with born again Christianity or
That's
something.
why many people say that they died and they came back to life. Yeah, but there is also they say you know, I died or something. Some people actually say that they've had a past life. Some children, you know, but the thing is, anyway, it says this in the Quran. I'm not sure and what this is. That chapter, I'll have to go through it. But anyway, I thought it's interesting because the thing is, I've rarely heard Muslims. I've never heard a single Muslim mention this anyway. But you know, but anybody who looks into it any further, I advise them to have a look at James Bond. You only live twice, Mr. Bond.
There's
Yeah.
definitely something there.
Oh, I love these James Bond movies. Yeah, but anyway, the thing is, so now, anyway, you mentioned that there's online, they turn around and say that the Quran has got a number 19 code. So now let me show you. The Quran is an oral book. Like they say there is the oral Torah. And they say the original Yungel or angel, you know, in Evangel in American, was an oral book. And what is strange about this is that when Moses brought the Torah, yeah, the thing is, this is what it says in the Bible. Yeah, I checked this myself, and the thing is, there will be people who deny this or try to make their own meanings. But well, I've shown you in other videos before that they changed the meaning of the Hebrew language. Elijah ben Yehuda, yes, but when Moses came according to the Bible. Yeah. Let's see where this is. Please don't say I can't find it now. Yeah. Where is this? When Moses came, I was supposed to have this ready for you, but let's see now. When
Well, it's interesting in the
again, I
Quran
can't.
here. They will say, "Our Lord, twice you caused us to die, and twice you gave us life." I mean,
Oh, it's definitely something interesting. So this means 2 lives before Judgment Day. So now
born
the thing
again.
is, I've never heard anybody mention this. There's so
The
many
Christians love
Muslims,
it.
you
They say
know.
born again Christ all the time. That's their whole thing with
Yeah, the
baptism.
Christians talk about this more than the Muslims.
Yeah,
Have you ever heard Muslims mention it? No,
not
I
yet.
actually haven't. Yeah, you know, so sometimes I do wonder, you know, what's actually going on. Let me just see if I can find this. Oh, I can't believe this. I'm sure I had this ready. Let's see. Yes, it should be in the book called The Orphan Trains. Yeah. Yes. Now the thing is, it turns around and says that this is very strange. Now this is from Exodus in chapter 34, verse 29. Now the thing is, they've changed the Hebrew meanings, but the thing is, the original Hebrew, yes, and according to Elijah ben Yehuda, yes, today and other people, it means horns, but it says Moses came with the Quran on Mount Sinai. Can you believe this? Hey, it says that Moses came, yeah, that it actually says in Exodus chapter 34, verse 29, it says, when Moses came, yes, from Mount Sinai, on his head, he came with the Quran. Now they've translated that saying he came with the light on his head. Can you believe this? Oh, yeah. So now the word Quran, actually, people don't know what it means. The word Quran means something that you read. That's where the English word chronicle came from. Chronicle, yes, that you read. So you read and memorize it and you keep it. So now the thing is, it turns around and says that there was an oral Torah that people memorized it. But these days, they turn around and said, no, he came with horns on his head. And that's why Michelangelo and all these other things, the Vatican's boys, they started making things saying, Moses came with horns on his head. He didn't come with no horns. And they're trying to say it was Satan or something. But even there, so the thing is, yeah, if we look at the Hebrew before Elijah ben Yehuda gave the meanings, that it simply means Moses came with a book, same like the Quran, in his head. Now, the Quran means something that you read and you memorize. And today the Muslims use the same word and say, this is what the Prophet Muhammad gave us. And we call this the Quran. Yeah, so the thing is, these are things, people have to look at, that people can't explain. And so Christ also came with something that you'll notice that Christ in many of these medieval paintings and things, he's got a halo around his head. But yeah, when we get to Christ, I'll show you a bit more about this. The thing is, he's holding a book in his hands, and you'll see the same thing. Moses is holding a book in his hands. Yeah, that Moses came with, or the tablets of the Ten Commandments. It's not 10 Commandments. They want you to think that, yes, it is 10 Commandments, but what Moses came was with the human rights, or the Dwat, the humans, yes, or the rights, or the Torah, or the truth, yes, for the freedom of mankind. So now they're trying to say this liberty is at the Statue of Liberty. They're trying to change it, yes. But the thing is, Moses actually came with these rights, and Jesus Christ came to renew them again for humans. Now, the Muslims claim that the Prophet Muhammad said the same thing, saying that you shall uphold the Torah. That the Quran, believe it or not, the Quran does not say that go against the Torah. The Quran repeats and makes it clear, and it says, don't follow, yes, these documents that the Vatican and their boys have, but follow the original Torah, or the Torah that you already have, that the people in, let's say, the Alemanni, the Germanic people already had. It tells the people to follow this book and to refuse. That's why they were fighting against the Vatican. Yes, and then many researchers have pointed out that the Quran and the followers of the Prophet Muhammad, the followers of this, the Quran that the Prophet Muhammad's followers had, that they tried to unite with, the followers of the Prophet Muhammad, the original Jews, and the followers of Christ, the original Christians, I call them. I don't call these the people who followed the Trinity, because the thing is, the Trinity was proclaimed. Let's see, when did they bring this Trinity out? Yeah, it was officially proclaimed during the Nicene Creed. Have you heard of the Nicene Creed?
Yeah, I mean, well, elaborate, but yes, I'm a Catholic. They made me do that as a kid. Take the creed. We believe
Yes,
in the
the Nicene
Father and one
Creed.
God. We believe in the Holy Roman. Yeah.
Right. Now the thing is, the Nicene Creed is very suspicious. So now the thing is, let's go through the Nicene Creed. When did this happen? When do you think it happened? The Nicene Creed?
Oh God, I mean, I haven't restudied this.
Yeah.
I remember, it's
The
supposed to be around
Nicene Creed
Constantine
was
300,
declared
320. Yeah.
The Nicene Creed was declared on the 19th of June in the year 325 AD.
Okay.
How the hell do they know it was the 19th of June in 325 AD? Yeah, it just sounds ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, during then, that's when they separated Passover, the Jewish Passover, the festival of Moses, into Easter. Yeah. So the thing is, it just sounds totally suspicious. Why does it have
Right.
to be? And which king did this? The Emperor Constantine did this. And what are they telling us in history? How could the Emperor Constantine do this? The Emperor Constantine came to power on the 19th of September 324 AD. He became the emperor. It's just ridiculous that that it's just garbage. It's just total garbage what they're teaching. You
It
know what
makes me
I
wonder if
mean?
it was like the seventh month, and then they moved it to September, or I mean, it clearly has more to do with the
Who
numerology than
said
anything
who
real.
said Constantine even existed?
Right. Even there.
There is
Yeah.
no. It sounds like they've just made up this history because they want people to accept this new Bible after they forced everybody. Yeah, like I'm not siding with the Serbs, but the evidence does show that thousands of people, yeah, Croatians. I don't call them Serbians. The Serbians will say they were Serbians, but I will say there were people who lived in Croatia that many children were taken to orphanages and they were brought up in Catholicism. Because the Orthodox did the same thing on the other side of the border, on the Serbian side. Yeah, and there's evidence of it. Yeah, so the thing is, they were all doing it. Same like, after World War One, the Armenians, yeah, the Turks deny a genocide, but there was many Armenians and Christians. You can call them Armenians or you could call them Greek that were actually in Anatolia. But guess what? Nobody actually checks. Yeah. They turn around and say that after World War One, that in southern Turkey near Antalya and what is it called? Western Turkey near Izmir. Yeah. They say that the Turks massacred the Armenians and the Greeks. Yeah. I found this very suspicious. Yeah. At first, because I was turning around thinking there was a Greek invasion at the same time. So how could that have happened? Let me just show you. Yeah, I'll have to find this. You could try to find it yourself. Turkey was occupied by the Allied powers in 1918. Yeah, in 1918. And the thing is, the British, the Americans, and the French, and the Italians, they occupied Anatolia. So let's have. Oh yes. So now let me. I'll send you a map, and this is what I found suspicious because the thing is, the Armenians and the Greeks, they're going to insist saying that our children and everybody disappeared and the people got massacred. So now the thing is, what happened to these children? Yes, these are very serious questions. And now the thing is, I'm surprised that the Turks don't mention this themselves. Yes. Now the thing is, if you have a look at this map is suspicious because the thing is, it looks like the Greeks got all the blame for this. Yes, and the Turks got all the blame for this as well. That if you're on Turkey, you'll blame the Greeks. If you're in Greece, you'll blame the Turks. Now look at this map. You'll see that it says the Greek zone and the Italian zone and the French zone near Konya, and it's in green color. How can it be the Italian zone and saying it's the Greeks? So it means the Italians and the Greeks. Hey, who had what part? Then the French are in the south. Yeah. So Antalya's in the south, and then there's Smyrna or Izmir and the Greek zone, but the Italians are there and the French are there. Now, guess what? The Armenians disappeared in those two regions.
Right.
Who are we going to blame? So now,
Shouldn't laugh.
yeah.
Serious.
So now the thing is, so this is very serious because
Yeah.
the Armenians, something happened to them.
Yeah, the serious ethnocide, millions lost.
Yeah, the thing is, I've got Armenian friends, and no matter what, the thing is, many of their old grandparents and everything have been to Armenia, and they've said this, and they couldn't have just made it up.
No.
They couldn't have just made it up because the grandparents, some of them, they remember what their parents told them, and the thing is, there's a limit to how much. Yeah, there is exaggerations. I've seen it. So now the thing is, they turn around and say that there was people who did this. But now the thing is, I noticed I had a look at photographs of Greeks, and let me give you an example from Germany, or otherwise nobody will believe me. Now this is here is a photograph of a bit of a middle-class German family. Let me send you a photograph of a middle-class German family in the 1930s and 40s first, or otherwise people will find this hard to believe, because the thing is, nobody checks these things out. Let me just find this picture. Yeah, because oh, don't say I can't find it, because without this evidence, people just will find this totally hard to believe. It's actually difficult to believe it. Yes, I found it. Thank God. Ugh. Oh, I should be saying thank Allah. Yes, I should be following the Alpha and the Omega. Now here is a middle-class German family. Yes, now, as you've noticed, they're wearing fezzes and hats that look like people in the Balkans. Have you noticed that? In Croatia, they used to wear these similar hats, and in Turkey. Have you noticed this? This is in the 1930s. This is Germany, or maybe even Poland or Ukraine, but they're Germans.
It's getting pretty ambiguous, right?
Yes. So as you can see, it's a global fashion. Yes.
Yeah.
So now, if you're going back to 1920, how the hell are you going to know the difference between an Armenian, a Greek, or a Turk, or a German, or an Italian?
Yeah, a fez,
You're
a
not
Peruvian
going
cap.
to.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So now they're all wearing this, so we don't know. So I had a look at Serbian soldiers in World War One. I couldn't even tell if they were Serbians or if they were Russians or if they were Turks. I'm being serious, because I turned out and thought some of these hats look Russian, but then again, you can see that Mustafa Kemal and Enver Pasha of Turkey have got the same hats. But then I thought, hey, wait a minute, Wilhelm II, some of his soldiers are wearing these things, because the photographs we see are actually the ones that they're showing in the media. But we're not looking at the average photograph of how the average middle class and how the average people were had their hats. They didn't really have these uniforms in World War One. Many of these people, these armies couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? They couldn't afford it. So now the thing is, in Anatolia, these things are happening. Now the strangest thing is, let me just find this. In Greece, yeah, the thing is, Athens was exporting. In Athens, there were the Americans. Let me show you now. Here you can check this out. This is you'll find this on the Greek Reporter. The full information's there, and in many other places, because this story is hard to hide. Now the thing is, in Greece, yes, they were exporting these orphans to through American companies and French companies and Italian companies, and they were exporting these children, orphans, in 1919. Where the hell did they find all these children from? They were doing it in Greece, but the thing is, that doesn't mean the Greeks were doing it. Greece was already poor. It just got Salonika. They couldn't afford it. Greece was like Africa in them days. We're talking in 1919. So the thing is, they were exporting these children. People can find information about this. Let's see if I've got this with me. Maybe I've got it with me somewhere. Yes, Hellenism. Ah, yes, I found it. Yes, this is from a Greek nationalist newspaper. So nobody can say I'm making this up, or nobody can say this is anti-Greek news. Yeah, Hellenism, Greek, Cyprus, religion, whatever. Hellenic orphans taken abroad from 1821 all the way through to the 1960s. Wow. Thousands of orphans, yeah, that were brought to America. America sent to Latin America. So you've got all these people who look like they're Mediterranean, that are in Mexico, Spain, everywhere, yeah, who think they're Spanish. Are they Spanish or are they Armenian? The Turks are the enemies.
I'm inclined to think Armenian. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but the Turks are the enemies of the Greeks. Do you think the Turks are going to be supplying these children?
Well, I mean, the Turks are
Or
clearly a
was
lot
it?
more convoluted than just a race. So that's the other thing.
Or was it? Now the Turks couldn't. The Turks don't even have ships at that time. We're talking about, a third world nation at that time.
Right.
Yeah. Now the thing is, the people who had the ships were the French. Yes. The
Mm-hmm.
British. World War One. So now this raises a question: who really did this Armenian massacres, or people are going to call it a genocide? Who really did it, and who was behind it, or what happened to these children? Yeah, they became workers. They were selling them. Yeah, and the Vatican and the churches were involved. Is just ridiculous. Now, now let's see this. They called it the Industrial Revolution. World War One time was still the late Industrial Revolution in Latin America and many other places. Where this is in my book, Orphan Trains. It's actually ridiculous. Yeah, what they were doing is children. Yeah, they were buying them. They were buying them. Can you believe this?
You hear stories with the
They were buying.
gypsies and human trafficking, but yeah, I can.
How did people become gypsies? Now imagine if you're the thing is, there's the Romani, Armania. Yes, it's a similar thing. Now the thing is, many of the Romani gypsy I've noticed, because when I was in Macedonia, I met somebody who's Romani, and he was a taxi driver. He was so friendly, and he didn't seem to have a religion or anything. And the thing is, he added me on Facebook, and I've been his friend since then. It's because I like making friends all over the world. And then the thing is, I noticed that in the last 2 years or 3 years after coronavirus, mysteriously, his family started going to church, because evangelicals have been going there from Europe to these Romani towns and villages and camps, and they're bringing them into Christianity. Many of them don't understand anything. You'll see that Germans are there, or English, or evangelicals. Young people who are getting paid for a holiday to go there, and they preach, and then they sing and dance and everything, and they give out presents and stuff and things like that. And then, they're slowly bringing these people in. Yeah. So the thing is, nowadays, at least they're not killing them. Yeah. That's not as bad as, what they did to Germany. Oh, God, don't even talk about it. I'm not even a German myself, or Germanic myself. But, when I hear this history, it makes me sick. It just makes me angry. I can't believe they did that. I am not an Aryan nationalist, but if these so-called Aryan so-called nationalists, or whatever, study the real history, oh my God, what are they going to do then? And then the thing is, the people they were following the way of Aaron, and they refused the Trinity and everything else. Let's see if these neo Aryans, if they're going to look at the truth. But anyway, so the thing is, they were selling these children, they were selling these orphans, and let's see who who was selling these orphans. When you see who, I'm laughing because
Oh
I couldn't
man,
believe
of
this.
course. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Lolita talks about this.
I'm laughing at the
Movies.
who. Do you know? Do you know who went to the war zones in World War One? The churches went to save the children. The churches opened the orphanages, and they were selling the children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can you believe this?
Foundling trains. There you go. Bringing the kids.
Yeah, the trains are just part of it. It's actually a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So these wars and everything, World War One and everything happened. It's just so sad what happened to the Armenians now. And now the thing is, the Armenians, of course, Armenia. I've been there. It's a country that's next door to Iran. And the thing is, it's next door to Iran, and many of them have not done research on this. But the thing is, if they know these things, I don't know how they are going to react. But the thing is, one day they'll get down to it. That it's mysterious that Greece, if you go there today, you'll see it's very underpopulated. The
Yeah.
countryside is like there's hardly anybody there. And then the thing is, they've got all these children, and they're exporting them.
And it's huge legacy, and they've depopulated, and now they control their economy. Yeah, Greece has been
Yeah,
done dirty.
I know. Yeah, it's actually so sad, everything that happened. So the thing is, and then they use these children as slaves. It was just ridiculous. They use these children as slaves. It's just so sad. Yeah. And let me give you an example of what they did to not just Armenia. They did this in Eastern Europe in World War One, everything, burning villages in Croatia, Serbia, Romania, everywhere, and then they killed the men fought, whatever, and then they took the children, brought them to the cities, and then the children, they brought them up in Christianity, Orthodox, Catholic, whatever,
Reading
Protestant.
backwards, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, what they did, if you, it's in my book, The Orphan Trains. You just look at this, and then they killed the men, and in World War One, in Eastern Europe, and Eastern Europe was highly populated. That's why it's exporting all that wheat all over the world from Ukraine, all over to the world from Ukraine. Look at what they did to the women.
Oh my god.
These Soviets and the Romanovs. They sent them in the middle of Siberia, in the middle of near cities, in the middle of nowhere,
Using them as
and
mules.
yeah. So the thing is, so we should be grateful, and we should look at history and think that we're living in a better life because the people in the past suffered. But the thing is, the best way that we could be grateful to them is to cherish their heritage and accept who they were. There is no evidence that these people, when we look at them, had the Trinity or followed this current Bible. They didn't speak these languages. The thing is, yeah, we can see there's amazing buildings with amazing architecture. We're finding Arabic coins there. The Alemanni, yeah, the so-called Anglo-Saxons. And these people, they were fighting against Christianity. And then they're telling us they were crusaders, they were fighting the Muslims. Wait a minute. You're telling us they're fighting the Vatican, but at the same time, you're saying the Vatican told these people, hey, go on the crusades. But no, these people are burning the churches. I'm not stupid here. You know what I mean? And then they're telling us, oh, the Aryan race and, things like that and things. But we can see what Aryanism really was.
Yeah, the
Why they
Church
didn't
of Aaron.
marry with anybody. Yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense that somebody's going to say, we're not going to marry somebody else. Yeah, but then it makes sense that if you see it from the point of view that, hey, it was to do with the Torah, and the Quran has the same law, marry a believer. You understand? Because the purpose of doing that is, many people say the purpose is because you're marrying them because you plan to live with that person together in the next life. And what is a believer? They believe in one God, and the charitable and the kind-hearted, and they search for the truth, and they stick to the truth. And the truth is, the Alpha and the Omega is the Alpha and the Omega. It is not the Alpha. It is not Allah. And if anybody's got any proof of this whatsoever, yeah, advertise it. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it at that, Andreas. Yes, I'm
It's
sure
pretty
there's
good.
enough
You're
things
right. We
that,
need to make sure that we honor the dead by remembering what they actually been through and not losing it.
yeah, they suffered, and the thing is, in their history, yes, and the thing is now, oh yeah, in America, Europe, and America, we see people that if we see that somebody who comes from the village backwards, when they're Muslims or something, because they're backwards, we call them backwards. Yeah. Not
Wow.
everybody, but many people do, and they've
Backwards,
got a
yeah.
headscarf, and they say, "Get that towel off your head." They insult them, or they attack them or something. Are they going to do that to their grandmother's great grandmother?
Backwards thinking.
Is that what? Is this what they're going to do to their Germanic ancestors who were dressed like this? Yes. Is this what they're going to do to their European ancestors who were dressed in the same way? Yeah. Is this what they're going to do? Yeah, and then they're going to say, "Oh no, I'm protecting, my Aryan nationalism." Where did you get this fake nationalism from? Go and have a look at your own ancestors first before you turn around and say somebody else has come from the Middle East or somewhere, and then somebody is going to turn around and say, "Oh, the Jews have made up this history or something." It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. As far as I can see, is that the Alemanni, they were following the Torah. They are part of the children of Israel. And then somebody is saying that the German Jews are fake. Show me the proof, because as far as I can see, the Alemanni are following the Torah. Why were they following the Torah? Maybe they were the children of Israel. And therefore, the Jews that came from Germany are also the children of Israel. You see, because they were the last few remaining. And that's why the Nazis and everybody else didn't want them around, because probably they could still remember in the 1930s that everybody else in Germany, they followed the Torah. And that's why they needed to get rid of them. Do you see now why?
That makes sense. I mean,
And
the
it makes
Jutland
sense
by the
why.
Rhineland, the Utes, that's a name for a kind of German, the Utes from the Jutland. Very similar.
Yes, of course it is. Jutland, UT land.
Yeah.
Yes, UT.
Everything you say
Yes.
every time. I can't believe it, David.
Yeah. So now today, we can see that everybody knows that wherever you are in the world, yeah, Buddhism, yeah, it might have something interesting. Sanskrit, yeah, maybe there's something ancient there. The Quran, forget it. No, 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 no.
Don't even
Islam,
look.
no, don't
Right.
mention it. No. Yes, and this is what they did to the followers of the Torah only 100 years ago in Europe. Yes, this is what the Vatican and the boys and the people in power did. That now they know that the final part, because the Quran mentions the same history. Yes, that I've heard it many times that people are saying, these Ashkenazim Jews are Ashkenazi or German Jews, they're fake. Okay, who the hell are the Alemanni who are following the Torah? Who the hell are these people? Are they not the children of Israel too? Okay, today they're called Germans. Yes. And then so somebody is saying the German Jews, and some people will say, oh yeah, half of them came from Eastern Europe or from Russia. Okay, let's forget them. Let's talk about the ones from Holland. Yeah. The Dutch Jews. So the thing is, people haven't had a good look. Yeah, there is the case that after many Jews, Alemanni Jews became Christian because they were forced to. Many of them then went back to Judaism. That you can say from that point of view that they're German Jews and that they are not Middle Eastern Jews. Yeah, so that's debatable, but that's a different subject. But the thing is, when we're talking about the German Jews and how they got rid of them, and the Jews in Eastern Europe, and they got rid of the followers of the Torah, and many of those people were Polish and Ukrainians. Yeah, the Nazis did all sorts of things. They killed so many, it's just ridiculous. It's more than 6 million. Whether they gassed them, whatever they did, yeah, because the old people disappeared. Yeah. And many of the younger people under the 40s are in these camps, or many of these photographs. You turn around and think, where are the elderly? Yeah. And everybody knows in these villages, wherever you go in the third world, the elderly are there. Yeah. That Hillary Clinton or other people would call them useless eaters. They can't work in the camps. So whoever these Nazis were, they did horrible things, and they were part of the plan. And the Soviets and their gulags and the communists did horrible things in their time in the revolution thing. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, maybe the evidence was falsified or modified in many things to do with the Holocaust. The numbers don't add up and many things don't make sense. But horrible, ridiculous things happen to feed the machine in Germany. And many things are happening today to feed the machine of Europe and America in our modern world.
It doesn't do any good to deny tragedy. It makes a lot more sense to look at how it affects us.
It's like the Armenians suffered. Now the thing is, some people will turn around and say, they're Orthodox Christians, they're not Protestants, so it doesn't mean a lot. Or many Muslims might say, hey, they're not Muslims, so to me, no, they're humans, they're people. Yeah, we don't even know if
amazing culture lost from Armenia. Like Armenia is amazing. Like there's so much stuff.
But the thing is, 100 years ago, we don't even know what their religion was.
Right.
That today it's evolved because if you have a look at the way Greek Christianity, I'll have to do this next time. The Greek Christianity is so suspicious, and Hagia Sophia and things like this.
Yeah.
We'll have to go through this another time because that is another deep subject. Because the Arameans are the Romanians, or the Romanians are the Romans. Yes, and the forgery of the Roman Empire. Of the history of the Roman Empire. That'll be another time, but ancient Rome did not exist. Let me just tell you that.
The rabbit hole never it never just stops. It always continues.
Yeah, we'll continue it another time, Andreas. Yes,
David, it's amazing.
People can find all this information is in all my books. There's so many of them, no point in even mentioning which one.
Guys, thank you so much for listening, and if you want, you can go to the description below. You'll find the works by David Ewing Jr. There's just
and Andreas, thank you very much for your hard work. Yes,
hey, we're doing our best.
I hope that people do subscribe and appreciate the hard work that you do.
Thank you. Yes, like, subscribe, and share.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So have a nice day, Andreas. Okay. Yeah.
Take care.
Hey, everybody, tune in to Recent Tartarians.
Recent Tartarians. Recent Tartarians.